it's Rainy. Welcome back to my channel. I realize this looks like a hot mess, but today we're going to go over my Trader Joe's haul number 2. So I did get 2 weeks worth of food for 2 people and spent $190. So I'm trying to go only every 2 weeks instead of every week in an effort to save money, and kind of helps me be more creative because I have to come up with foods that are kind of the rejects that I save for the end of the freezer. P.S. 9 o'clock is when Trader Joe's opens. It used to be 8, so that's not true anymore. They got me. So let's start with the vegetables. As usual, I got 2 things of lettuce because I do a salad every day, and so I'll chop this up, wash it off, and put it in a lettuce keeper at the beginning of the week, and it usually lasts me a little less than 2 weeks. I got parsley. Parsley is one of the things that I like to season pretty much everything, so if it's an Italian dish or just an oven-baked chicken dish, parsley is really good. I'll take this, pop it in the freezer so I don't have to use it all in the 2 weeks. It can kind of last a lot longer. Bell peppers, green bell peppers, I only got 2. They're 79 cents each. I would rather have one like every single day. They're one of my favorites. I have a spiralizer, and so when I first made zucchini squash, I didn't really like it that much, but then I played with recipes and found some that I like, so I've gotten to make that a little bit more, and it's been pretty good. One thing to keep in mind, a lot of people say, oh, it tastes, like spaghetti squash and zucchini, replaces your pasta, you never miss it. If you really like pasta, you probably will miss the pasta. So instead of looking at this as something that's supposed to replace your pasta, just look at it as an addition to. So instead of using pasta noodles, you're branching out a little bit and using these. It's gonna be different, but that doesn't mean it's not good. It's still good, it's just not just like pasta. Same can be true for cauliflower. So I made cauliflower pizza crust, and I went in with the expectation that it's not gonna taste like pizza crust, because let's be honest, pizza crust is delicious, but it does taste different. It's still really, really good. It doesn't give you it's not exactly like pizza crust. So I think if we can get our minds from thinking like, oh, this is supposed to replace pizza crust because I can never ever eat pizza crust again. No, this is just going to be a different way of eating pizza. I got baby carrots. I like them. I put them in my smoothies in the morning with mango. Shelled edamame in the freezer section. I got these because I like to add them to this vegetable fried rice, also in the freezer section, and I make orange chicken and then serve these all together. This gives it a little extra protein boost. These can be a good snack too, especially if you don't eat a lot of meat. This can be a good protein. Frozen corn and frozen bell peppers. Now, the good news about frozen stuff, a lot of people ask me what the difference in canned, fresh, or frozen. And if you're looking at nutrient value, fresh is always the best, but in the summer is one of the only times we get a lot of these really fresh foods, really local. And so what they've done with frozen is they've frozen it at its peak of freshness. And so for the most part, if you're looking at in an order, you could do fresh, frozen, and then canned last, just because by the time it gets processed down to can mode, some of the nutrients have been lost. That being said, they're still really good. So if you're not eating fruits and vegetables because you don't want to buy the canned version and the rest is too expensive, then canned is still better than not having them all together. And so I get frozen because I want to have it on hand, and I'm just going to buy it fresh and freeze it myself, so I might as well buy it frozen. It's usually cheaper and pre-cut, because what I don't have time for in the afternoons when I get home, I have time for what you make time for, but I don't want to stand in the kitchen chopping things because I'm hungry. So I want to make shortcuts when I can without eating from a box or a drop food. Also, on the getting it already pre-cut train, I do get minced garlic already done. Fresh garlic does give you a little bit more of a garlic flavor, but this is really good. It's easy. You can just put a tablespoon of garlic in something and keep going, and I don't have to chop it. And so again, if I'm cutting out steps of chopping, when I get home, I'm more likely to actually make a home-cooked meal because I can just put stuff in there versus spending all this time chopping stuff and then cooking it. In the South, it's kind of a waiting game. I'm just waiting for summer when I can get fresh cucumbers, fresh tomatoes, and all that stuff from a garden. But for now, the smaller ones to me have a little bit more flavor. So I went ahead and got these. They were kind of pricey though, like $2.29 or something. Tomatoes, I did get organic. There's something called the Dirty Dozen, which just tells you the 12 foods you should get organic. I mean, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If I bought 20 organic things, it would probably cost me $20 more at the store. So sometimes I'll get them if they're not a huge price difference. Again, with the canned, fresh, and frozen, it can be important to eat organic, but it also is important to just eat fruits and vegetables. So if you're kind of one of those people that's hung up on, I don't know which ones to get organic and which ones to not, so I'm just not going to buy them, by all means, just buy some fruits and vegetables and start there. Canned black beans. Now, I will rinse and drain these because I do like to take about half the sodium off. So I rarely just open a can and pour it in something these sweet potatoes, mostly for me. JT doesn't really like sweet potatoes, but he's not picky, so I'm hoping to kind of increase them a little bit more without really asking. With the onion, it was 79 cents. I don't really love a strong onion flavor, so I'll put like a fourth or a third of an onion in each recipe. But go ahead and chop this up and put it in a container and keep it in the refrigerator. So that way, if I need to add a little bit of onion to something, I don't have to peel it, cut it every single time. It's already pretty much done for me. I just need to add it in there. Because I'm making pimento and cheese, and I'm gonna use celery instead of crackers. Finally, the other frozen vegetables I got sweet peas and I got spinach because I'm gonna make pasta primavera, and these are gonna be in the vegetables that I put in them. I'm also, I didn't get asparagus. You also wanna put in asparagus in that, but I forgot to get asparagus. Darn. I'm not gonna go back just for that. That'd be weird. I'm not gonna do that. Telling me, don't do that. Another vegetable I got was mushrooms. I like to make a chicken marsala, and these mushrooms are really good in it. Finally, the last vegetable, avocado. Goes without saying, I'm gonna get them every time. Trader Joe's actually has a really good deal on avocado. It was 4 of them for $3.49, which if you go to Publix, they were like $1.50 each. So let's get to fruit. 4 or 5 Granny Smith apples. I packed them with his lunch, along with these 2 mandarin oranges. We like cuties better, but they didn't have cuties, so I got these 2. And we'll put 2 in, I'll put 2 in his lunches. This was $2.99 for this bag. So, I got bananas. I eat 1 or 2 of these, honestly, and then I end up peeling and freezing the rest. I have a stockpile of bananas. I don't know why I buy them because I still just peel them and freeze them. But they're really great for smoothies. I don't really like Granny Smith apples, so I got pink ladies. I like a sweeter apple, not really a tangy apple, but everybody's different. JT likes kiwi, so I got some of that, and I'm gonna put that in his lunch too. I found this cool thing about like using a spoon to hollow out a kiwi, and I'm super pumped about trying that too. Things that get you excited when you're 28. I know. Frozen fruit wise, so back to the fresh frozen canned debacle. So fresh fruit, of course, is better, but fresh mangoes can be expensive and a pain to chop. And I really haven't figured that out yet. So frozen is where I go for that. Now, about canned fruit. If you do get canned fruit, you want to get canned in its own juice or water. No heavy or light syrup. Both of those just mean they've added a ton of sugar into it. Even if it's light syrup, you don't want that extra sugar. Just go ahead and get canned in its own juice, and that's going to be the best canned option. Canned fruit's not my favorite. I actually don't buy canned fruit that much unless I'm just making something for a lot of people. I'll go frozen. Frozen mango, though, is one of my favorite things. It's such a good snack. Just just put it in a bowl on the counter for like 10 minutes and then it softens just enough. It's delicious. But I also take them straight from the bag with some carrots and put it in with protein for a smoothie in the morning. Frozen blueberries, again with the summer waiting game. I'm just waiting on my mother-in-law's wonderful blueberries from her garden. So in the meantime, I'll buy some mediocre frozen ones to get me through. Cherries, and if you love cherries, you know cherries are expensive. But if you get frozen cherries, this was $3.99, which is still expensive. But it makes such a great smoothie for breakfast sometimes. So I'll put this, some homemade dark chocolate, which I make from coconut oil, and then protein powder. So I'll put all that in the smoothie, and it's so good. For dried fruit, I bought some raisins. I just made JT a trail mix last week of raisins and peanuts and put it in his lunch, which he ate on the way home, which is funny because the week before I said, do you want a trail mix in your lunch? And he said no. And so I learned that I don't have to ask. I just put it in there, and if he gets hungry enough, he'll eat it. As for me, I got walnuts. I love walnuts. These are really good on top of my salad. I put them on that salad that I talked about last time with feta, blueberries, and carrots. And then I also like to eat a handful of these sometimes with just chocolate chips if you want something sweet. I got some dates. I've actually never bought dates before, but my mom bought some and gave me some, and so I made chocolate covered dates, and ever since then I've been trying to get my hands on some more dates. These were pretty good price for dates. They were $2.99 and they're already pitted. By themselves they're not my favorite, so I'm going to share a recipe where you stuff it with an almond, put some chocolate on it, and it's delicious. Frozen raspberries, because I like to do that with the lemon and the water again, and I'll also do like a handful of these, or I'll put these in a smoothie with some of that chocolate as well. Okay, I rarely eat bread, not because I have any moral conviction against it or gluten intolerance, nothing like that. I just really, it's not my favorite. A long time ago when I was trying to be like low calorie, I would take like half a bun off of a hamburger and eat it, and now I just like it that way. Like I just don't, the bread just takes away from the flavor to me. But JT really likes bread, and he went on his own to buy a healthy bread choice for his lunch and came back with a ciabatta roll. To which I said, that's like the most indulgent bread you could get. No wonder it's delicious, right? So I got it for him because he's a landscaper and he works really hard, and if he needs some extra carbs in a ciabatta roll, he can have it. I don't need it, but he can have it. I also bought him pita bread. He actually really likes this white pita bread. Whole grain would be a better option, but I'm picking my battles here, folks. I did get whole wheat tortillas. These are pretty good, and they're, it says reduced carb and high in fiber, so they are 10 grams of carb, but 7 grams of fiber. That's great. Yay, we'll feel full if we eat one of those. And we're gonna make those this week with fish tacos. So fish tacos is a recipe that I've been working on for the upcoming meal plans that my friends and I are starting to sell. And so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a shot this weekend. I've already made it a couple of times, but we fine-tuned a few things, so I wanna remake it just to make sure it's good enough to sell to you guys. I got tilapia. It is farm raised, not my favorite. You want fresh caught, but it's all they had and it was $5, so I got it. It is important to get nitrate and nitrite-free meats. So we get uncured bacon. This is delicious. I know I've talked about this before. I get to put one in the freezer so that if I need to make BLTs in a pinch or some kind of dip for a party, I've got some bacon I can throw in there. I got turkey breast that says no nitrates or nitrites, so that's what I want. And those are for JT's pitas and his lunch. They did not have nitrate or nitrite-free pepperoni, so I bought this as a backup pepperoni, but Trader Joe's, please get nitrite-free pepperoni. It's important, and I want it. Now for the cheeses, I got feta because I put it on my salad. Now I'll take this cheese and I'll just go ahead and cut it in the package in 4s. And so I'll just take a line and kind of cut it with a knife to make 4 little individual cubes, and I'll put 1 cube on a salad. So it usually lasts me 8 salads. Mozzarella cheese, both the kind that you need to slice and the shredded kind. Now my favorite is the kind you need to slice. It usually has less additives because it doesn't have to have that anti-caking agent. But like I said, in a pinch, I'll put this in because I don't want to be spending all afternoon chopping and dicing and slicing. So I do get it. I got Mexican cheese because like I said, we're gonna have fish tacos and we'll need this. I did get the light Mexican blend. I got the regular mozzarella because the light mozzarella was more expensive, so I'll just use less cheese than I will if it's a little bit lighter. So you can kind of decide what you like to do. Parmesan cheese. We put Parmesan cheese on just about everything, and it's delicious. I do get this fresh, not that powdery stuff that I remember from like restaurants. I don't worry with that. I got butter for my usual baking. I've got 3 birthdays in April. All 3 of my siblings are in April, and I like to make cakes, so I'll make them some cakes too. Trader Joe's butter did go up like 50 cents, which I didn't love, but I guess I understand, and I'm still gonna go, so I can't complain too much. Milk, I get 1% milk because I put milk in my coffee too, and the non-fat just doesn't do it for me. This was $3.49, which is a little bit pricey. Speaking of coffee, I got this because it's $11.49, but it lasts like 2 weeks, and it's not ground, so make sure you have a coffee grinder if you get this kind, but because you grind it just before you use it, it's delicious coffee. I got 3 bags of popcorn because this is one of our snacks. And so I'll take a handful of this and put it in a trail mix or as a snack after work. Finally, I got 2 bottles of vino because I'm classy like that, and it's $3. I hope this video gives you some ideas for your own kitchen and your own grocery shopping. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks, guys.